Close your eyes for a moment and think about chocolate. What do you see? Perhaps you imagine the bright, crinkling sound of a silver wrapper. You see a smooth, brown bar divided into perfect little squares. You feel it melting slowly on your tongue, filling your mouth with a rich, creamy flavor. For most of us, chocolate is the ultimate comfort food. It is the definition of a sweet treat. When we say something is sweet, we mean it has a pleasant taste of sugar or honey, like a ripe strawberry or a birthday cake. But if you could travel back in time 3,000 years, you wouldn't find any candy bars. You wouldn't find any sugar at all. Instead, you would see someone holding a decorated clay cup filled with a dark, bubbling liquid. There is a thick foam on top. It isn't warm and cozy. It's often served cold or at room temperature. And the taste? It would probably shock you. Instead of being creamy, this drink was watery and sharp. Instead of being sugary, it was incredibly bitter. When we describe a taste as bitter, we are talking about a sharp, strong, and sometimes harsh flavor. Think of the taste of plain coffee without any milk, or very dark leafy greens. To the ancient people who first discovered it, chocolate wasn't a snack you'd eat while watching a movie. It was a powerful, intense, and spicy drink. It was often mixed with chili peppers or cornmeal, giving it a kick that would make your throat tingle. It was a power drink, long before energy drinks ever existed. It's fascinating to realize that the thing we call chocolate today began in a form many modern people would barely recognize. We are so used to the Milky Way or the Hershey bar that we forget chocolate has a much darker, deeper, and more grown-up past. So, chocolate did not begin as a sweet snack. It was something much more mysterious. To understand the soul of chocolate, we have to travel away from the modern supermarket and deep into the tropical rainforests of Central and South America. This is the origin of chocolate. When we talk about an origin, we are talking about the starting point of something, the place or time where a story first begins. For chocolate, that starting point was thousands of years ago, in the humid, green shadows of the Americas. Long before the first European ships arrived on these shores, indigenous cultures like the Olmecs, the Mayans, and later the Aztecs discovered a very special tree, Theobroma cacao. But they didn't find bars of chocolate hanging from the branches. Instead, they found large, colorful pods. Inside these pods were seeds, or beans, covered in a sweet, white pulp. The process of turning these seeds into something drinkable was a true art form. It wasn't a quick task. It required patience and skill. First, the people would harvest the pods and take out the beans. They would let them sit under large leaves to ferment, then dry them in the sun, and finally roast them over a fire. The most important step happened next. They would take these roasted beans and grind them on a flat, heavy stone. To grind means to crush something into a very fine powder or a thick paste by pressing it between two hard surfaces. Imagine the sound of stone rubbing against stone as the dark, oily paste began to form. This paste was the heart of their cacao drink. They would mix this paste with water, pouring the liquid back and forth between two containers from a great height. This created a thick, beautiful foam on top, the sign of a perfectly made drink. They didn't see this as just a recipe. They saw it as a gift from the earth. They were the first to realize that this bitter bean held a secret energy. It is easy to think of chocolate as a European invention because of famous brands in Switzerland or Belgium. But the truth is much older. Chocolate is a gift from the ancient peoples of the Americas, who spent centuries perfecting the way they grew and prepared it. Without their curiosity and their hard work in the rainforest, the world might never have known the taste of cacao. So, the journey of chocolate began with a simple bean and a lot of hard work in the rainforests of the Americas. For the ancient people of Mesoamerica, cacao was so much more than just a tasty ingredient. They didn't see it as a simple snack you'd grab when you were hungry. Instead, they treated it with a level of respect that we usually save for gold or fine jewelry. To them, cacao was sacred. When we say something is sacred, we mean it is holy or connected to a god. It is something so special that it deserves great respect. The Mayans, for example, believed that cacao was a gift from the gods to humans. Because of this, chocolate wasn't just for everyone. It was a drink for kings, priests, and the most powerful warriors. Drinking it was a way to show your high status. If you were holding a cup of cacao, it meant you were someone important. Cacao also played a huge role in the most important moments of life. It was served at weddings to join two families together. It was used in ceremonies to celebrate a successful harvest or to ask the gods for rain. It was even placed in the tombs of dead kings, so they could enjoy a cup of chocolate in the afterlife. In these moments, chocolate wasn't just food. It was a bridge between the human world and the world of the divine. But cacao had another surprising use. Because the beans were small, easy to carry, and highly valued, people used them as a form of money. This led to a very organized system of trade. To trade means to buy and sell things, or to exchange one item for another. Imagine going to a busy ancient market. You wouldn't use coins or paper bills. Instead, you might use cacao beans. For example, a few hundred years ago, you could buy a rabbit for 10 cacao beans, or a high-quality turkey for 100 beans. People worked hard to grow these trees because, in a very real way, they were growing money on branches. Cacao was the currency of the forest. This is the big aha moment in the story of chocolate. Its early history isn't really about candy or sweetness. It's a story about human culture, power, and what we choose to value. It shows us that humans have always looked for ways to make their lives feel more meaningful, and for thousands of years, they used the humble cacao bean to do exactly that. So, cacao was not just a drink. It was a symbol of wealth and a connection to the gods. For thousands of years, the secret of chocolate was kept within the shores of the Americas. But in the late 1400s and early 1500s, the world began to change. Huge wooden ships from Europe arrived on the coast, and with them came a moment of massive cultural contact. This was the first time Europeans had an encounter with cacao. An encounter is a meeting, especially one that is unexpected or between people who have never met before. Imagine the scene: Spanish explorers, dressed in heavy metal armor, standing in the heat of the jungle. They were offered a cup of this dark, foamy, bitter liquid by the indigenous people. At first, the Europeans didn't know what to think. Some of them actually hated it. One explorer even called it a drink for pigs. They couldn't understand why this bitter soup was so valuable. However, they soon noticed how much energy the drink gave them. They saw how the Aztec emperor, Montezuma, drank dozens of cups a day. They realized that even if the taste was strange, the power of the bean was real. So, when the Spanish ships turned around to sail back across the Atlantic Ocean, they didn't just carry gold and silver. They carried bags of cacao beans. This was a major turning point. Chocolate was no longer a local secret. It began to spread. When something starts to spread, it moves over a large area or reaches a lot of people. It's like a drop of ink falling into a glass of water. Slowly, the color moves everywhere. When cacao arrived in Spain, it was kept a secret for a long time. It was an expensive, exotic luxury. Because it came from a world so far away, only the richest people, kings, queens, and nobles, could afford to try it. It was served in beautiful, thin chocolate pots and drunk from delicate cups. But even though it was popular with the elite, it still had that original, bitter kick. The Europeans were fascinated by the drink, but they were about to make one major change that would turn this foreign medicine into the global favorite we recognize today. They had the beans, and they had the curiosity, but they were missing one key ingredient. So, chocolate's global story began when it left its original home and entered a new world of luxury and fashion. When cacao first arrived in Europe, it was a bit of a challenge for the tongue. Remember, Europeans at the time were used to things like wine, beer, and honey-sweetened cakes. To them, the cold, spicy, and bitter drink of the Americas felt a bit too intense. It was often treated more like a strange medicine than a delicious treat. But then, everything changed because of one simple, powerful addition: sugar. Initially, Europeans tried to make the drink more familiar by adding things they already liked, such as cinnamon, black pepper, and even vanilla. But when they started stirring in large amounts of sugar, the result was magic. This change wasn't just about making the drink easier to swallow. It completely changed the flavor. When we talk about flavor, we are talking about the specific taste of a food or drink. It's that special combination of how something smells and how it feels on your tongue. Suddenly, the bitter water of the Aztecs was gone. In its place was something rich, warm, and deeply comforting. As sugar and milk were added, chocolate began to transform. To transform means to change something so much that it becomes something almost entirely new. It is like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. The soul of the cacao was still there, but the experience was completely different. It was no longer a cold, spicy drink for warriors. It became a hot, sweet luxury for the royal courts of Europe. This was the birth of chocolate houses in cities like London and Paris. These were fashionable places where wealthy people would meet to talk about politics, gossip, and art while sipping on their expensive, sweet chocolate. It became a symbol of the good life. If you were drinking chocolate in the 1700s, you were part of the elite. You were modern. You were fashionable. This shift is the biggest reason why chocolate feels so normal to us today. We don't think of it as a strange, bitter liquid from a faraway jungle. We think of it as a sweet reward. By changing the taste, history changed who the drink was for and how the world looked at it. So, the addition of sugar changed chocolate from a spicy ritual drink into a sweet, fashionable luxury. For hundreds of years, chocolate was a high-end secret. If you wanted a taste, you needed a lot of money and a lot of time. It was the ultimate luxury. When we call something a luxury, we mean it is something expensive, pleasant, and not necessary for daily life. It is something only a few people can afford to have. Back then, every cup of chocolate was made by hand, which meant it was rare and very, very slow to produce. But then, the world entered the age of machines. In the 1800s, everything changed. New inventions allowed people to squeeze the fat out of the cacao bean, creating a smooth powder. This was the birth of modern baking chocolate and, eventually, the solid chocolate bar. To make these bars in large numbers, production moved out of small kitchens and into the factory. A factory is a large building where goods are manufactured or made in huge quantities, usually with the help of machines. Instead of one person grinding beans on a stone for hours, a single machine could process thousands of beans in minutes. This did something incredible. It made the price of chocolate drop. It wasn't just for kings and palaces anymore. Because factories could make so much of it, chocolate started appearing in small, local shops. It became something a worker could buy on their way home, or a treat a parent could give to a child. This was the moment chocolate became an everyday product. It changed from a liquid you drank in a fancy cup to a solid bar you could carry in your pocket. The factory didn't just change the shape of chocolate, it changed the audience. It took a symbol of the rich and put it into the hands of everyone. So, machines and factories transformed chocolate from an expensive luxury into an affordable treat for everyone. While the history of chocolate is often filled with discovery and delight, there is a side to this story that is much harder to swallow. As chocolate moved from a rare luxury to a cheap product for everyone, the pressure to produce more cacao grew. This created a hidden reality that is still present today: the difficult human cost behind every sweet bite. Deep in the tropical heat of West Africa or South America, the process begins long before the beans reach a factory. Imagine a farmer waking up while the jungle is still dark. They spend all day swinging heavy tools, carrying massive bags of beans under a burning sun, and working the rough ground. This is intense physical labor. When we talk about labor, we are referring to very hard work, especially work that is physically tiring and done for a long time. The contrast is striking. On one side of the world, we see chocolate on polished supermarket shelves, wrapped in bright gold foil and colorful paper. On the other side, the people who grow the cacao often live in poverty. Sometimes, the person who spends their whole life harvesting the beans has never even tasted a finished chocolate bar. This brings up the question of fairness. Fairness is the quality of treating people in a way that is right, equal, and just. In the modern world, many people are starting to ask for more transparency. They want to know that the farmers are paid a living wage and that no children are forced to work in the fields. It's a reminder that something so ordinary and comforting can carry a complicated past. The history of chocolate isn't just a story of changing recipes. It's a story of the people whose hard work makes it possible. So, the global success of chocolate also carries a history of hard work and unequal value. We have traveled from the ancient, misty jungles of Mesoamerica to the busy chocolate houses of Europe, and finally to the massive factories of the modern age. After looking at all these layers, it's clear that chocolate is never just candy. It is a long, human story that we can taste. Even today, chocolate holds a unique place in our lives. We use it for comfort when we are feeling sad or tired. When we talk about comfort, we mean a pleasant feeling of being relaxed and free from pain or worry. It's the warm hug of a hot cocoa on a rainy day, or the quiet peace of a single square of dark chocolate after a long afternoon. At the same time, chocolate is still ordinary. Something that is ordinary is normal, common, and easy to find. It's on every corner and in every grocery store. But perhaps that is the most amazing part of the story. A bean that was once used as money, offered to gods, and reserved only for kings, is now something we can all share. The next time you unwrap a piece of chocolate, take a second to look at it. Think about the ancient stone grinders, the tall ships crossing the ocean, the sugar that changed its soul, and the hands that harvested the pods. You aren't just eating a snack, you are taking part in a global tradition that has shaped our world for thousands of years. So, chocolate remains a special part of our lives because it connects our daily habits to a deep, shared history.